Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to Alien Addict. I don't think we've had any more shoot downs. I could be wrong. There's probably going to be one just right now as we go live. But what a couple of weeks it's been. Well, a week and a bit. Let's just call it a couple of weeks. Yeah. Without further ado, my partner in crime, Lee, my lad, my lover.
I'll shoot you down, prick. How are you doing?
That's too early for prick. It's not been 15 seconds.
No, that's not a swear word though, is it?
Oh, no.
If we were a knitting channel, I would imagine you would open with like that, or you know, or like one of the blood things, you know, like a show about diabetes. There'd have been loads of pricks within the first few minutes.
Let's bring another prick on.
Yeah, biggest prick of them all.
Stu, how you doing, you little prick? Stu
Little
Little.
prick. How you doing? All right.
It's a good job we're all English. Well, Stu's not.
Scots, but UK.
How dare
you?
you?
For a while.
And you're not actually either. You're just like on an odd island.
I'm Manx.
Yeah.
In fact, it's you that's the minority here because you're on with two Celts.
Well, you know what? Apparently, I'm not English.
Coming from
I don't think a lot of English people are, but my granddad did a lot of history and stuff like that. And he
I thought you were going to say my mother did a lot of shagging.
that too. No, my dad. He was in the merchant navy, so he definitely did. But yeah, he did a lot of research, and apparently, you know, we're Vikings, hence the ginger beard. I think most of England is probably.
Yeah, the Vikings came over and they made themselves known.
They made themselves definitely known. Yeah.
Nobody lived somewhere and said, "Oh, did you hear this Vikings moved in down the road? They're awfully quiet." No one said that.
I've not got the length of a Viking though. Tallness. I'm not. I'm not
downhill rapidly.
Vikings are big. You know, the big guys.
Oh, yeah.
And the girls.
Yep.
The Helgas. How's it been, boys? Stu, how you been?
Good, thanks.
You good?
This is the third time I've tried to get on. With everything, work and family and all that.
Yeah.
Life
gets in the way, my friend.
Yeah.
How have you, as somebody who just is a guy that loves just to watch stuff on UFOs and that jazz? What have you thought of the last couple of weeks to all this that's been going on?
I think it's China poking the bear. I think the whole thing is a preamble to China moving towards Taiwan and going for it. I think they're testing the US just to see what they'll do. But it's a weird one.
Do you think every single one of those objects that was shot down was something from China?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Because
I don't know.
Have you watched Joe Biden's speech yesterday?
I haven't actually. I couldn't tell you what he said. I have a fair idea what he said.
He did say that he doesn't think it's Russia, China, or any other country. It's almost like he was saying that it's something that's commercial, almost, that he believes that it's small balloon things that they have over there. That's what I kind of got from it, Lee.
I don't know.
I think there's something really weird about it all. Like I don't even think it's.
You don't trust it.
I don't trust it. Realistically, right? Do you think everything would be, for want of a better word, as calm as it is, if the US all of a sudden starts shooting Chinese aircraft down? on its soil. I mean, that's like you're at war at that point. We're talking about like,
But I think it's the fact that they're unmanned and they're balloons that they can get away with it.
well, one was definitely a balloon.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
first one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
one we know 100%.
yeah.
Or do we?
I still find it weird. I know Dave said that he didn't find it strange. Personally, I still find it strange that there was Chinese writing on the side of a Chinese spy balloon. I think that was weird. It just, I mean, it's a spy balloon. The word is spy, so surely that would like insinuate some sort of level of stealth and
But it's a bloody balloon as well. You know, I mean, they're not exactly hard to track. I mean, you hear, like, you know why they've started tracking these things now, don't you?
No.
NORAD, which is their air defense command, basically use a software and it's designed to track ICBMs, cruise missiles, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It ignores a shitload of stuff, like birds, for example, flocks of birds.
There's a
different
threshold,
Yeah.
threshold there for it.
And
finding important.
basically, somebody went into like the junk bin of the software and realized they had been tracking all this anomalous stuff that wasn't things that they knew, like birds and stuff like that. And that's when they changed the filtering on the software for the radar tracking.
right,
And they've now all of a sudden started tracking all these things.
that
So
would
chances
be
are
awesome. That would be
China-
awesome if it wasn't for the fact that all of a sudden we found one, and then people started taking photographs of it. Where
But
were
I
all
think-
the photographs of spy balloons a year ago?
I think, well, they should have been higher up in the atmosphere. I think that one was a bit of a
Broken.
Yeah, I don't think it definitely was way lower than it should have been. And that's why obviously it got photographed and became of public interest. The stuff after that, I think, was done through an abundance of caution, through the fact that they were, they'd effectively gone on red alert or whatever and started to realize, oh shit, there's more of these things coming over than we realized. But it's such an old school bit of technology in terms of like how
Yeah.
you get spy data back to the like if it is, well, it's China, like they're getting the stuff back. But
To Shenzhen.
yeah, probably they had, before they were even photographed, from what I understand it, they had electronic warfare planes circling it, but with a 5 mile radius. They were staying 5 miles away from it, so they weren't going to be in anyone's pictures, and they were basically jamming as much of the technology as possible, and also scanning. And I think that's why they let it go to South Carolina before they actually shot the thing down. And they shot the other ones down a bit faster because there was such an outcry at the fact that they didn't shoot this one down very fast.
That's what I find really odd about this. It's the fact, was it up for about 3 days, and they knew about it for about 3 days. Nothing happened.
I think it was I think it was public for 3 days, but I think they knew about it 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people were saying, "Well, come on, Joe, how you've let this thing just float about for a bit, doing its thing." And for me, it's a bit weird that all of a sudden you're now getting the media and Joe Biden saying, I acted fast on this one. It's kind of like, it's so. I mean, I don't believe in coincidences. It's almost like it's redeemed him.
It's almost like in between that balloon and the UFOs, and subsequent chemical fires that seem to be going all over the place now, which is weird. That the Epstein documents have been released, and it's looking more and more likely that the US gave the go-ahead to blow up the Nord Stream pipeline. That's what it looks like to me. And it looks like all this stuff that surrounds those things might just be noise and chatter to take headlines up.
Yeah, I mean,
especially Nord Stream.
They've got a saying in America, like if they want to like put something out and just let it disappear into the news cycle, they put it out on a Friday afternoon,
News
and it's
dump.
literally called, it's known, putting out the trash. Like they dump everything out on a Friday afternoon because half the journalists are in the pub or bar or whatever, and it gets ignored over the weekend, and then it has to be something pretty big for it to still remain in the news cycle by a Monday morning.
What I'll do, I'm gonna bring it up while you guys are talking, because I think it's interesting what he says, but it just looks a little bit sus. So carry on, fellas.
The thing with the first balloon, the F-22 that shot that down, it was an AIM-9 X Sidewinder missile, but it wasn't armed. So it was literally just the kinetic energy of the missile hitting the balloon, burst it, and made it crash. Whereas the second, third, and there's a fourth one now, they've all been actually shot down. So they're having to collect from quite a large debris field. What's Grandpa Joe saying?
Are you going to seriously expect me to take seriously that he's going to say something weird now?
Our military, through the North American Aerospace Defense Command, so-called NORAD, closely scrutinized our airspace, including enhancing our radar to pick up more slow-moving objects above our country around the world. In doing so, they tracked 3 unidentified objects, one in Alaska, Canada, and over Lake Huron in the Midwest. They acted in accordance with established parameters for determining how to deal with unidentified aerial objects in U.S. airspace. At their recommendation, I gave the order to take down these 3 objects due to hazards to civilian commercial air traffic and because we could not rule out the surveillance risk of sensitive facilities. We acted in consultation.
Pause it a second, Ollie.
I'd like to pause it, because what we really need to concentrate on is the surveillance capabilities of his fucking garage. Carry on.
Apart from that, one thing that also kind of irritates me, he's saying he gave approval. In this sort of chain of command of things, they could have shot that down without needing presidential approval. So it just seems like me, it's such a big sort of PR spin. It's distracting from something.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to find something and then going, right, we found some more unidentified flying objects.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you know how many times a week...
Can we take them down?
Yeah. Do you know how many times a week that there's RAF fighter jets leave Lossiemouth? And
yes, I do, because one of my best mates is actually on the base fixing the planes.
Yeah, well, they depart an awful lot and basically turn Russian planes around.
Mm-hmm.
And more so since the Ukrainian war started. Russia's really been sort of, testing the mettle of all the NATO countries and stuff like that. So,
sometimes he has to work like crazy hours, if like, especially through times like these.
Yeah, because for every 1 hour that these jets are up in the air, there's about another 10 or 20 hours maintenance. I mean, for each of those jets has got like 4 engineers on it to make sure that it's running properly and, maintained at all times because of the nature of the readiness they've got to be at. And the reason I know that is because my little cousin was in the RAF Reg based up there. He was one of the soldiers that guarded the base effectively.
Before we carry on with Slow Joe, have any of you heard of this? Romanian fighter jet was scrambled on Tuesday as objects were detected over European airspace, but the jets were called off as it disappeared from radar.
No.
Cheers, Gavin.
No, I haven't heard that one.
No, I haven't either.
Maybe that was for Andrew Tate. Did they release him from jail or something?
No, yeah, he did just put a statement out, though.
Lee, have a little search or Stu while I get back onto the Biden. Get back on Biden.
The Romanian jet thing, yeah.
Yeah, mate. And if you send the link into the private chat, we can bring something up on it.
Doe and from Canada on Saturday. And just as critically, we acted out of an abundance of caution and an opportunity that allowed us to take down these objects safely. Our military and the Canadian military are seeking to recover the debris so we can learn more about these three objects. Our intelligence community is still assessing all three incidences. They're reporting to me daily and will continue their urgent efforts to do so, and I will communicate that to the Congress. We don't yet know exactly what these three objects were, but nothing right now suggests they were related to China's spy balloon program or that they were surveillance vehicles from any other country. The intelligence community's current assessment is that these three objects were most likely balloons tied to private companies, recreation or research institutions studying weather or conducting other scientific research.
See, I think that's bullshit.
When I came into office, I instructed.
Can we not just say how fucking scary it would be if if the most powerful army in the world didn't know the difference between something that was invading their airspace and a civilian fucking weather experiment? It's not like weather balloons. It's not like weather balloons are new. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this whole NORAD thing we've updated the software is.
Oh my word! It's a massive troll. The whole thing's a massive troll.
It wouldn't shock me. I mean, the software they probably use is well out of date, and it wouldn't shock me that they haven't been using it properly. Now that they've switched off the filtration system for certain sizes of objects or whatever, all of a sudden they're seeing all this stuff landing over their territorial waters.
Does it not seem weird though on the conspiratorial front that the fucking time that all of a sudden we're talking about UFOs again and it's weather balloons?
Yeah, Ollie, I've emailed that through to you.
Maybe they've always been weather balloons. Shit.
Yeah, that. Oh yeah, and that's definitely a thumbnail right there.
Weather balloon.
What another weather balloon? Have you put that in the private chat, Lee?
No, I emailed it to you because I'm on the iPad and.
Okay, mate. No worries. We can bring that up. I'll.
CTV News. I don't know what this.
To take a broad look at the phenomenon of unidentified aerial objects. We know that a range of entities,
Gavin said that was on the BBC website,
research organizations operate objects at altitudes for purposes that are not nefarious, including legitimate scientific research. I want to be clear. We don't have any evidence that there has been a sudden increase in the number of objects in the sky. We're now just seeing more of them, partially because the steps we've taken to increase our radars, to narrow our radars. And we have to keep adapting our approach to dealing with these challenges. That's why I've directed my team to come back to me with sharper rules for how we will deal with these unidentified objects moving forward, distinguishing between those that are likely to pose safety and security risks that necessitate action and those that do not.
It's so weird, isn't it?
But make no mistake.
He really is jumping.
If any object presents.
It really does feel like he's jumping out of his way. Like he said, unidentified objects. Unidentified. What are they in the sky? Yeah. Are they flying? No. They're still just unidentified objects. Not unidentified flying objects. Just unidentified objects. Do you know what I mean?
Know what these things are? I don't believe for a minute they don't know what they are.
No, I don't. They know exactly what they are. 100%.
I can't possibly have a bloody budget of $800 billion a year and not have the technology to scan stuff and know exactly what it is or what it isn't, you know?
Yeah. Kaiser Solo 76 said second, third, and fourth objects just a boy story to get out of explained train disasters in America. And it's, to be perfectly honest, that to me, if I'm going to stick my tinfoil hat on, that's the biggest story in the world right now, is the chemical fires.
Yeah, because they basically poisoned a whole town.
No, but it's not just there, is it? There's like, off the top of my head, Norway had one this morning. There was another European country, literally like about an hour and a half ago, because it popped up when I was in the pub. Ohio, obviously, Florida. Someone can help me in the chat with more, but there's like 6 or 7 of these happened like over the course of a week. It's really weird, like really weird. It just feels.
Can I go off
like
topic
chaos.
ever so slightly?
Yeah.
See this is
Stu. It's Alien Addict that we do that all the time.
Hey, this is really off topic.
and must see audio as well.
You know how it's the town where the train was derailed was East Palestine? Yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you with me on that one? Please, for the love of God, tell me somebody opened a strip club called the Gaza Strip. I just think that was sorry. I just think that would be so funny. In East Palestine, the Gaza Strip Club.
I've got this the Romanian
okay, I'll go now.
Line up as well.
It's a threat to the safety and security of the American people. I will take it down. I'll be sharing with Congress these.
There you go. There's
If any
the
object
money
presents
maker.
a threat to the safety and security of the American people, I will take it down. I'll be sharing with Congress these classified policy parameters when they're completed, and they'll remain classified so we don't give our roadmap to our enemies to try to evade our defenses. Going forward, these parameters will guide what actions we'll take while responding to unmanned and unidentified aerial objects.
Don't be putting a DJI Mavic up there.
Do you know what I find was so odd about this whole thing, the reporting of it, everything? That extraterrestrial was never out of the equation. How weird is that?
But that is literally them just leaning on the whole UFO thing, UFO community, the UAP thing, you know, the stuff that's been going through
community. We are small. I mean, apart from America, which, you know, every man and his dog has been abducted. I've just lost some subscribers.
I mean,
it's not really.
There is a larger interest in it, but there's not like a day-to-day interest in it, like what we do and like all the rest of it.
I judge everything on here in the UK, where, you know, you talk about a UFO in the pub and someone probably headbutts you.
That's just Yorkshire, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to think about it, because you're right in the way that you can't take social media as a snapshot of public opinion. You know, either way, you know, if you could do that, Jeremy Corbyn won the last election by a landslide. If you could take like a snapshot of opinion from Twitter, but I do think it's bigger than you think it is, because I think the difference is people want to believe this. You know, they want it to be real.
The other thing that, like, I think doesn't get talked about is there isn't any major, apart from obviously what's going on in Ukraine, there isn't any major conflicts that the US are involved with at the moment, like Afghanistan or Iraq or anything like that. So, I mean, the military-industrial complex will be losing billions because they're not buying the same amount of equipment and missiles and bullets and all the rest of it that they were previously.
Gavin brings up a good point here in amongst this thing. There, surely jets shot. Look, I sound like Biden. Surely the jets shot down by the object would have captured videos of the shoot downs as they filmed the Tic Tac encounters. Also, this bit that got me. Also said there was no. Also said the objects had no means of propulsion, and that's the big one for me. Was that first Pentagon thing where it was said that the pilots didn't see, or what was it? He didn't say propulsion. He said there was no visible means of keeping these things aloft.
Mhm.
That doesn't say balloon to me, because if you see a balloon, you know how it's kept aloft. It's a fucking balloon.
And
Yeah,
right
it's
by
full of
saying, Lee,
helium
they
gas.
said
Yeah.
they stated that on, I can't remember which channel it was on, but apparently they said it interfered with some of their gizmos on the plane.
See, I can't see that because I mean the F-22 is like the most advanced 5th generation fighter there is, and they've got 360-degree like views of what's going on outside the cockpit. I mean, the pilot can literally look down through the floor and get a visual view of what's going on underneath the plane.
Mhm.
I mean, there will be like high definition video of these takedowns. I mean, it depends on the distance, obviously, because I mean, the F-22 can target things 200 miles out and fire a missile on it. But as far as I know, they're maybe only like a mile or 2 miles away, and that's well within the bounds of their camera technology.
I understand why they're not going to show stuff like that, because you're not going to show, which probably your enemies do know how those things work anyway. Let's face it, but you're not going to show that to Joe Public, how them shooting it down and from the cockpit and this, that, and the other. You're just not going to do that. You're not going to.
I don't think they will show anything ever.
No, I don't. I don't think we'll. I think we'll be talking about this in 40 fucking years' time.
I think if it was balloons, we'd have seen video of it. If there was nothing special about it, that's the thing. I thought Dave brought up a good.
So, what do you think it was? If you think it wasn't balloons?
I don't know.
What's Dark Sky saying here, Lee? Because he's always got some.
Why would the Chinese send spy balloons when they have SATs in space that can literally see your shoe color and the stain of the gum on the sideway?
Because satellites are predictable. They know when satellites are going to come over. All the satellites are mapped and tracked. So let's say the Russian satellites that fly over Area 51, for example, if they've got anything, 6th or 7th generation that they've got out on the tarmac, and they know a satellite's going to be coming
over, what if it's a new satellite?
Yeah, do we not think that if we're talking about technology like this,
it takes about 20 orbits of the Earth to get a satellite sort of properly aligned. These things, I mean, they can track debris less than 12 inches in size, so there's no problem tracking like a CubeSat or anything like that. They know what's going up, and they can detect rocket launches, so they know when the Chinese are putting something up into space.
I think the idea that there isn't something like a stealth satellite, that seems odd to me. That that there wouldn't be. I mean, first of all, like you say, they can detect launches. So if I was looking at something militarily, then the first thing I would go was, right, well, how do we work around this then? There must be some way that we can get these things into the air and into the like low Earth orbit without necessarily like launching them like that. I don't know. I don't believe they're foreign. I don't believe, because everything about these 4 that were shot down, unless it might be bullshit. Don't get me wrong, and that's kind of where I am with.
I'll come back to this.
With the fires and the Epstein stuff and the Nord Stream, it seems like a handy story at a handy time.
Oh, it's a good distraction, no doubt about it.
But I don't believe that the US would allow China to just invade like this. And the thing is, the story of these, not the first one, obviously. I think the first one was just an odd thing. I don't think that first thing is connected to these other things in the slightest, if they're things. And they do seem to have more in common with the Fravor story and the what we've had is coming out is like the UFO stuff lately. And if that's the case, I don't know what they are, but I don't believe they're a foreign nation, because I don't think that I don't see the pathway to get the technological jump.
Yeah.
Even even whenever we've seen like advance in science, yeah, and advance in like military capabilities, there's always been like this drip feed of it's the like from flight to hypersonic jets. There's been this gradual creep of technology.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to see is if this is in the same realm as the Tic Tac, there's a massive gap in technology that we have no idea where that's gone, because none of it's dripped down to the public sphere. None of it seems to have come out of private industry. So where's that being developed in its? Because it would have to be some sort of a parallel science going on, which is completely separated from what we know as science.
This here, though, Lee, that's the thing that gets me. There is 100% no way that from all four of those things being shot down, that they, especially the last three, retrieving nothing.
Oh no! If they shut them down, they've got it. Like they've got it. They just haven't said
100%.
it. Yeah.
I mean, the reason why they're taking a while to get all the debris is because the first object was shot down just kinetically using the energy of the missile. As far as I know, the second, third, and fourth one, they actually blew them up. So the debris field is quite wide and varied. And plus, these things weren't as big as the first one. The first one was like 3 school buses in length. And the balloon was like over 100 feet across.
Yeah, huge.
Mm.
So I mean, it's a fair size of an object. I mean, you're saying about like the whole Tic Tac thing and like a parallel like technology. I always remember, I think it was Ben Rich of Lockheed Skunk Works. He did a talk, and at the end of the talk, he kind of threw out a comment and basically said, "Oh, by the way, we've got the ability to take ET home now."
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then somebody chased him up on it, and he came up with some goofy all points in space and time, lead to every location or something. I can't remember what it was. It was to do with consciousness and stuff. But you just don't know what these corporations are doing. And the best way to hide these things so that they're not, like put up and discovered like with FOIA and stuff like that, Freedom of Information Act and that, is to bury them into private corporations, which are FOIA exempt.
So, Mike, I would agree with you there that there's a lot of people muddying the waters with this. I don't know if you're referring to us.
I think the
here.
water's muddy anyway.
Yeah, but I think
an unidentified aerial phenomena does not necessarily mean alien technology, which is kind of what
he's for a minute
suggesting there.
No, I don't think it's alien.
No,
alien. I think it's China.
See, I don't think it's China either.
Well, who would it be if it's not China?
He's the UK.
I mean, the thing is, BAE does some weird shit, but I mean, they don't do it in this country. It's their subsidiaries worldwide where they do some of the wackier stuff.
They could be doing it to themselves for all we know.
Could be.
Do you believe that would be that some UFOs are extraterrestrial, Stuart?
I think there's a good, see the case of the kids in Zimbabwe and in Melbourne. Those are quite credible. I think also, I quite believe the footage, I think it was shot in Turkey, and you can basically see inside the craft, like 2 aliens moving about. That looks quite credible.
Has
it been debunked?
Yeah, that was a cruise ship.
Is it right?
Yeah,
a cruise ship, right? Okay.
Yeah, that
I hadn't heard that. So.
No, I didn't know that. That was Rich when he was on one day. Showed the working out of why that was a cruise ship, and it destroyed my just destroyed my soul because I thought that
I
was
can
the best.
see that now. That as soon
thing.
as you say that, it does look
Yeah.
like the bridge of a cruise ship. Anyway.
Yeah,
So fair play
With
on that
people
one.
dressed
But
up as fucking greys.
yeah.
God
It was
knows.
sort of a
But,
party. Which
yeah,
have been.
I mean, we always end up going back to Roswell, and I hate that because there's been so much. Like I think the Shag Harbor incident was potentially an actual UFO. We
Do you know
talked
that harbour
about
was named after Ollie's mum?
that.
Absolute twat.
Oh, yeah. Could have walked into that one, so you did. But yes, I think some of
Yeah,
the
my
stuff
mum's in the
is-
chat.
No, she's going to get you, Lee. I
She
think
probably will actually.
I think some of the stuff is potentially extraterrestrial. I do think we are an oddity to, if there are extraterrestrials, an oddity for almost like a zoo. They come and look at us and, see what we're all about and then leave again. I think they've done that for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years.
I can imagine. Have you seen these hairy things? They just fuck each other over
Yeah.
constantly. Let's bring this report up.
Just quickly, because this where we talk about these things that where they might be. See, I lean towards the idea that I find it much more realistic that, because I don't get me wrong, I think some of these things are piloted or are at least sent by things that aren't what we would consider human. But I find it much more easy to believe that we're just not the smartest thing on the ranch. And there's
What do you think?
can
There's
be.
a civilization underneath the ocean, like what we were
Yeah.
talking about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and these things always seem to come in and out of water. It's we get the whole transmedium thing.
I mean, my wife's with you on that one. That's what she believes in. She believes
Yeah.
that because the Earth's, 2/3 water, we are not the main apex predator on the planet. There's other things that maybe we just haven't discovered yet.
Well, my thought on the underwater thing was, when you look at the there's a reason sharks did so well through the cataclysms, for instance, and that's because they were in the water. So the major issues happened on land with flooding and whatnot. So it stands to reason to me that if you were an intelligent life form that was in the stages of growing when these things were happening around the dinosaur period, that life form would have carried on better than what the dinosaurs would do. So you could have had all of those extra years of evolution where we were essentially just coming down from trees, but they'd been going longer and surviving longer because of where they were.
I mean, if you think about it, right, like humanity has only really moved forward dramatically in the last 300-400 years, and they're now estimating that 11,000, 12,000 years ago there was potentially other civilizations that have now vanished off the face of the earth due to cataclysms and stuff like that.
Have you ever looked into any of the mud flood stuff and like Tartaria things?
Yeah, a little
I
bit.
find it fascinating.
I don't put much on the mud floods things. I think a lot of that could be debunked quite easily. But I have looked at it slightly. I mean, I do know what you're talking about.
I think the idea that maybe we've been at a better, maybe not better is not the right word, but a different point, where we've understood technology in a slightly different way in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it still blows my mind, the pyramids, how they were built.
Yeah,
because
there's all sorts of buildings all over. We always go straight to the pyramids, but even when you look at sort of like ornate carved like temples and stuff in like Asia.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Göbekli Tepe, and you've got the stuff in Malaysia. You've got Easter Island, Rapa Nui, the heads, which actually they dug down and discovered there's actually bodies are part of the stone as well. You've got the Mayan culture, and the thing that they say is the fact that like this stuff's put together so accurately that we would struggle to do it now, you know. And I think that's amazingly fascinating, because when I was at school, and you were at school as well, we were told the pharaohs basically built these things to bury their dead in. You know, the kings, the pharaohs, you know, they were basically great big tombs.
Isn't
And,
it
you know, that's
strange how
just-
that was taught as fact as well?
Yeah. The amount of stuff, Lee, that I was taught as a kid, that it was like, you know, utter fact is
Yep.
phenomenal. And a lot of it is just pure speculation.
Yeah, it's crazy. The ones that again that always stick in my mind are the pyramids, obviously, because we all remember opening the textbooks and seeing like pictures of slaves like dragging blocks up ramps and stuff like that, which now clearly nonsense. Like that's the only way. In fact, to be perfectly honest, the only way you could teach that to anybody is if they're a child, because you have no sense of scale as to like the scale of these blocks and what you would have to do to pull them. So without that, it's
But the thing is, that's to the certain extent that's what they're still teaching. Because when my wee boy was in primary 5, they took him to a place called the Dick Institute, where they had like an exhibition of Egyptian archaeology stuff.
Oddly enough, that was named after Ollie's dad.
I tee him up, you knock him out. But no, I mean, it's in Kilmarnock, so it's like 20 miles like north of where I stay. But they were still effectively teaching the same thing, which is, you know, the pyramids were made as tombs for the pharaohs. And I challenged the librarian who was giving the talk and said, I thought we got past that now. And she didn't know what to say with herself, and she ended up like moving on to another, you know, part of her lecture for the kids. But like, I just thought, you're talking a complete load of crap.
Yeah, it's weird. Like it really is. I don't quite get it. The same with like the I mean I know very little about geography or geology, but the when you look at exactly what we know about the Earth and how deep it is and what's in the middle of it and stuff like that, again pure speculation. That's we're constantly teaching as fact, and it just rolls on and rolls on. And in a way, you wonder whether that's half the battle with advancements being made in this, because people are just grown up with this preconceived, baked idea. So when they go into academia and they start researching these things, they've already got this baseline, which was taught to them, which was they were essentially taught a rumor.
Yeah, I mean, have you heard that information, like the story that came out, I think, a week or two ago about scientists who had measured seismic activity that had gone through the Earth, and they reckon the iron core right in the middle has stopped spinning at the moment.
Yeah.
And they estimate it does it every 60, 70 years. It like almost takes a rest, takes a week off, and starts spinning in whatever direction it needs to spin. I mean, how did they know that?
Just realised I've been on mute for about half an hour. It's
Yeah,
too much in my lifetime. Absolutely too much. You know, the Earth stopped spinning. We're getting UFO shot down in the sky. Why did this happen?
Oh, and the poles are switching. That's the other thing. The north and south poles are switching places, supposedly. Yeah. I don't know how that's going to work.
That's terrifying. Like
does that just screw up compasses or what?
No.
What happens with that?
If the poles actually switched, and I'm going from memory on this because I've just been looking stuff about it. Essentially, you would get a point as the poles switched where the Earth would stop spinning, not just the core. The Earth would stop spinning, but obviously the water and air would carry on, and it would just it would just cause tsunamis and earthquakes and all sorts of fuckery, I believe is the technical term.
I like fuckery. Yeah. Right, let's see what she's got to say about this.
Oh, we still listen to this bitch. Carry on.
Let's start with those unidentified objects shot out of the sky. Right now, just behind me on Parliament Hill, Cabinet is meeting, being briefed on the latest on that situation by Chief of Defense Staff General Wayne Eyre. Cabinet should break on our watch this evening. So we will stay tuned to find out what we can about what the ministers in that meeting heard. But in the meantime, there's General Eyre right there going into the meeting. In the meantime, what does the discovery of those unidentified objects and before them that Chinese spy balloon mean for the defense of North America? Chuck Hagel was U.S. Secretary of Defense under the Obama administration from 2013 to 2015. Hi, Secretary Hagel. Good to have you with us this evening.
Thank you.
I appreciate you making the time. Sir, if you were still Secretary of Defense, how concerned, how worried would you be about what's unfolded over the last 10 days?
Well, you always are concerned when events occur that you don't anticipate, but in the kind of world that we live in, you have to look at everything and every possibility and not be surprised by events. What will happen here, as you have just heard, the objects that have been retrieved will start to be examined. We'll probably find some pretty significant evidence to answer the questions that the Prime Minister just addressed, as well as your Defense Minister, and what President Biden has said too. So I don't know. I don't think it's anything that the United States or Canada or North America needs to be worried about in the sense that, oh, is this something we didn't know about or didn't anticipate? No, you anticipate.
Doesn't it just sound like nobody has a fucking clue what they are talking about?
I was just going to say, I've definitely been in positions doing podcasts and doing this show where I've started talking about something and I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. And
like
you've just got to kind of keep talking through it until you can pass the subject off to somebody else. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's literally just smashing words together to fill the 30 seconds he's got to speak for on television.
Is he not a Republican?
I think
Not
so.
that matters, but I think, is he not? He was, hold on, I'm just looking. Yeah, he was put in position by Obama, even though he was a Republican, as SecDef. And there was a problem with these confirmation. The Democrats or something didn't vote on it or something, and then the whole thing was filibustered. I remember that. But he was quite useless as SecDef, from what I understand. I don't think he was the best Secretary of Defense the US has ever had, even though he's a military vet. He fought in Vietnam.
What was it Dave said today in the chat, Lee? Because I mean, I was at work, but I was trying to catch up on it when I got home. And did he say something about with the missiles shooting balloons down? Or was that you saying, would they shoot balloons with missiles?
I really can't remember, mate. We talk lots on the chat.
I mean, I don't know anything about this sort of stuff. I've not got any
They
military. Would they shoot a fucking
I know
balloon
Ben Jones just popped this in the chat, which might answer your question. When the balloons were shot down by a 400 grand Sidewinder.
Yeah, it was an
mate.
AIM 9X model rather than the AIM 9B or the A9M, which are older. The X is the one with the latest sort of guidance technology on it.
It's a lot of money to shoot a balloon down, isn't it? If you don't,
That's quite cheap for a missile, you know.
But
a cruise missile will set you back a couple of million.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that we're talking about these things as like they don't know what they are, which is kind of what Ollie was saying there. Would it be a wise idea to shoot stuff down that you don't know what it is?
No. Of course.
So they must have had some reasonable idea of what they were shooting at.
Because I've heard things like payloads, and you know, maybe this has got some sort of disease. But there's been so many conspiracies going round about, you know, what the consequences could have been if one of these things was a threat from a different country, and then to just shoot it out the sky like that.
See, during World War II, the Japanese sent balloons across to America, and with bombs on them, and
They just
basically
popped them with pins.
they
Yeah.
literally
First World War as well, wasn't the balloons like sent over in the First World War too?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's such. Oh, I mean, balloons have been around since what, the 16th, 17th
Mhm.
century. The Lumiere brothers, or whatever they were called. But like, it's such old technology. It really is. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are modern advances in airship technology. Actually, not far away from where you stay, Ollie, there's a big aircraft hangar that's got a massive sort of blunt style balloon thing, double hulled, that they've been testing and flying about Yorkshire for a while.
That is
Was it?
actually just Ollie's mum.
Yeah.
I could see the
Ooh.
smile. I could see the smile on his face, and I thought, "Here we fucking
I
go."
tee them up, he knocks them out the park. But
My mum always gets it.
I still don't think. I mean, at least it's not my mum.
I need to wash the wine off my technology.
I still don't think it's like a Tic Tac flavor situation, because they would just like. I don't think they could be shot down. See if like
No. I totally agree with you, Stu. If it was that sort of tech that can move like that,
if they can go from 80,000 feet to sea level in less than 2 seconds, they can get the fuck out of the way of any Sidewinder missile getting fired at them.
unless they found a way of confusing the drone.
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, again,
You've seen the fake images going around, haven't you? You've seen like the shot down, like kind of like Tic Tac looking thing.
Yeah. I sent you one the other
He's just
day.
wiped his equipment to get the wine off and knocked himself out.
Yeah,
you sent me the hanger looking one, which again was blurred.
but that was a load of bullshit as well. Come on, that wasn't, but that was floating around Twitter. I think Mick West was quite fast on that one to debunk it. But no, it's totally weird. And I mean, I would like to see a little bit more transparency from the US government. Whether they will or not, I don't know. But they seem to be putting themselves in a position where they're going to have to be more transparent about the stuff. Because they were quite quick at photographing, like them lifting what was the remaining parts of the first balloon.
Yeah.
The actual skin of the balloon and the sort of boom frame thing, whatever it was. Why they don't put more out, I don't know.
If there's bullshittery to it, though.
Yeah. What's the Epstein thing, by the way? I know what Epstein is, but what's the information, the documents that have been released? Because I've missed out on that this week.
You need leave for that, mate.
Right.
I don't follow that sort of stuff.
Neither do I.
He'll be back. He'll be back. And it just pisses me off that the whole Epstein stuff. That a lot of it's a lot of that stuff just passes people by, and they don't understand it, and things don't get revealed, and things seem to get hidden. When there's so many people involved.
See the whole Prince Andrew thing, though, just to digress while Lee's away.
UFOs, Prince Andrew.
Andrew.
This is Alien Addict.
When I worked as a press photographer, on 2 occasions I came across Prince Andrew, and they were both occasions at Royal Troon Golf Course, and it was before he was the captain of the Royal and Ancient Golf Club, the governing body in the UK of golf, and he was playing the course, the open course, prior to the championship, and myself and another photographer walked along a public beach and weren't even in the course. We just used our long lenses, and we knew which hole he was going to be teeing off from, going by us. We get some good shots, and see the hassle we got from the police on those 2 occasions was phenomenal. They were totally beyond the joke in terms of the way they treated us. If they could have shot us, they would have shot us. Put it that way. But they didn't.
Just from filming
thankfully.
Prince Andrew.
Yeah, just photograph them prior to the course getting opened up to all the
Lee's just
professionals.
thinking, what the fuck am I just walked into?
No idea. I'm just happy that I've still
No,
got a
we were
computer
just-
to carry on.
We were just Ollie was saying that you'll know more. I was asking him about the Epstein stuff. What documents were released on Epstein?
The whole court proceedings. There's something like 2,000 like separate pages being put out.
Is there anything juicy in it? Like are names getting named?
It's the entire flight manifest for Epstein's private jet has been put out. I started going through, but there's so many names. I'll be perfectly honest here. Like if I was doing this full time and it was my job to be a commentator type thing, then I would be trawling through that. I don't have time to go through 2,000 pages of court documents. So as far as I'm concerned, at the minute, I'm waiting for the sort of the commentators and, for want of better words, conspiracy theorists that I prefer listening to.
Was it just the other day this stuff was released?
Yesterday afternoon, I think. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon.
Right.
Because it was yesterday afternoon, because that was when I started looking through the flight manifest when I was at work, and then remembered I paint things. I don't look at Epstein documents for a living. So, I mean, the thing is, it's the problem I think that's been thrown in with this is the fact that people keep asking for a client list, and I don't know if there's a client list. I don't know if Epstein kept a book saying people.
If anyone kept a client list, it would have been Ghislaine Maxwell.
But like in what capacity? This is the thing. In what capacity do you consider a client list? Like for what purposes was this? For his money moving thing, or did he have a separate book that says people that I help to nonce? It's just I don't know where the client list was coming from. But considering the fact that the plane was referred to, like this was fucking people like Alex Jones a decade ago, referring to it as the Lolita Express. And people knew what was going on that island. I suggest that anybody that flew on a plane that was nicknamed the Lolita Express that was going to Epstein's private fuck island should probably be treated with some caution.
The thing is, though, I mean, it goes right to the total top of power, because obviously Clinton was involved with it, which means Mrs. Clinton must have known about it. She was, Secretary of State, and then she ran for president. Well,
there's a woman.
I mean,
there's a woman, I believe, I think her name's Sarah. She's just come out to say that she was trafficked by Epstein, and she was abused, like as a child. I don't know. I don't know how old she was, but she referred to herself as a child. Anyway, somehow she says that she is in possession of tapes that involve her and the Obamas, and apparently she's gonna. This is going to be a thing that happens. What I do find weird about the whole thing is, you talk about strange synchronicities and things where I think it's. If you're going to say like the whole world's a stage for this stuff, her surname's Ransom.
That's handy.
That's weird, isn't it? But I think Mike said Trump's on Lolita 8 times. I don't unless that
doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me either. But up until, unless that's new and on the list, he wasn't on the original flight manifest. And from what I remember, is he was on like once, but it wasn't to the island or something like that. It was to Mar-a-Lago.
You've seen the images of like Trump with his daughter when she was like 15 years old. That's a very unhealthy relationship. The way
it does seem a bit weird. All of it seems weird. Like there's not one of these people that are in like, I mean, that's something I will say. I'm not. I was never part of the Trump is the savior of humanity club. but there seems to be something weird about all of them. And there's always even down to like when you look at celebrities and you had the Ellen DeGeneres had what's her name, Sandra Bullock on. Did you ever see the clip of the Sandra Bullock talk about her beauty regime on?
I saw the one of Dakota Fanning taking the piss out of Ellen about getting invited to a party or something.
No,
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock was on, and
Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, they were talking about the what you call it, a beauty product she was using, kind of like you know these the needling they do where they run the small rollers of needles over people's faces and makes them all bleed, and it's
all right, yeah, with the tiny little bricks in it.
Well, she was doing that. But she was she said, oh yeah, but they put some sort of serum on it. And it was like this built up like a bit. And Ellen DeGeneres was going, no, but tell them what the serum is. Tell them where they get the serum from. And Sandra Bullock's, well, it's blood. And yeah, but where did they get the blood from? Where did they get the blood from, Sandra? She said, well, it's foreskin blood. And they, but what foreskins do they come from? And she said, well, it's baby foreskins. And like the audience is fucking roaring at this, but anyone with a soul left in their body goes, "This is fucked, guys." Like it's
stem cells and foreskins.
So
love it.
Strange. It's so strange. The stuff that's being passed off as normal.
So you're saying that this whole thing could be to cover up
foreskins?
To cover.
She doesn't need baby foreskins. I will wipe my foreskin all over Sandra Bullock's face. Any single day.
I love it.
Are you saying that this could be a cover up for the manifest?
Maybe the manifest. Maybe that to me, even more than the Nord Stream thing. Like if 40% of the stuff about Epstein Island and the people that go to Epstein Island and the stuff that goes on there, if 40% of that is right, then the most powerful people in the world will be fucking screwed. You know, and it doesn't even have to be like the let's even take the ages out of it. Even if it was just they had like this private island that they were trafficking young women to, which were of legal age, and then
still wrong,
are great and good, which is supposedly the moral compass of the world, privately fly out and do what they want to these people or each other or a mixture of the two, and then fly back. That's strange, but it's obviously something wrong, because you tend to not do stuff that's fine and legal and above board on private islands. That's tends to be stuff you can do anywhere. And realistically, right now as well, I think the West is at a pretty fucking low moral high ground. So you can get away with doing a lot of bad stuff, and it gets like washed away in the media by the 24-hour news cycle. So if there's something that these people are actually worried about, if it's something now which would make people sit up and take notice, it must be grim.
The one thing that came out of Trump's presidency was the rest of the world realizing that you can be in so much shit and lie your way out of it easily. Because he did that every day. I mean, he had scandals for the whole 4 years of his presidency, just about every week. And he talked his way out of every single one of those scandals. And I'll be shocked.
Do you think part of the issue there is, I'm going to sound like a fucking Trump apologist here, But do you think a lot of the time the problem there is because there might have been a little bit of smoke, and then I will, regardless of the character he is, 90% of the news was, I believe, is institutionally captured in one particular direction. So there wasn't actually enough substance to go at him.
Yeah,
but they went at him, and then they looked stupid in the end because they didn't actually have enough to go at him with. So that's why there seemed to be another scandal every week, because they were creating scandals that this guy could just bat away because they didn't have enough substance behind it.
And I think also
Teflon.
Traditionally, also other politicians would have caved long before and resigned. And the fact that he just said, "Nah, fuck them," I'm just not going to play their game, and he hung in for it. It just set a new standard. So that, I mean, the congressman I'm thinking of right now is that guy Matt Gaetz. I think he's Florida or whatever, and he's got quite a lengthy investigation going on about him potentially taking a minor across state lines. And doing the business and all that kind of stuff, and that seems to have disappeared. He seems to have weathered that. And again, 15 years ago, that would have sunk any congressman, congresswoman, whatever.
Do you think that now that we're on this kind of subject of people in power, and it goes very well with the channel, the subject of the channel, alien extraterrestrials and all that jazz, why do you think that when people so the Hillary with the Podesta thing, you've got the I've forgotten the lady's name. Is it something Gillan? I've forgotten her name. Senator Gillan something. Anyway,
Gillibrand.
Yeah, Senator Gillibrand. Why do you think that the whole UFO thing is very important when people want to get into power? Do you think it has such a big impact for votes?
I think it's the money men behind it. I mean, just about every politician in America is bought in one way, shape, form, or another for all their campaigns and stuff like that. They need money, and I think some of the richest lobbyists are the military-industrial complex. So if they can be favorable to the whole UAP, UFO thing, and getting the know on some of that stuff in the background, I think that's a door that opens a lot of money for them.
I think it's disposable credit as well. Like when you get Hillary Clinton, for instance, on whatever
Jimmy Fallon or
Jimmy Fallon, whatever show it is, and she says, "Well, I'm going to ask about the aliens again," and then everyone goes, "Oh my God! If Hillary gets in, she's going to ask about the aliens," and it's like it's a good vibe story that you all of a sudden get in all newspapers because it's a bit weird and wacky.
Yeah, it's a folk catcher as well.
Yeah, but it's also something that she doesn't have to follow up on because it's just aliens.
Yeah. It's not like, I'm going to, improve the education system in America. That's important to a lot of people, or I'm going to improve the medical situation in America and, nationalize it. That would have a pure outcry over there. But no, it's a disposable thing, as you say. It's a throwaway line they can get away with causing a bit of a stir and then forgetting about it later on. I don't know. It's a tricky one. But I still don't think these things are these balloons or objects or whatever the hell they are.
Do you think the balloons? Do you think they were balloons? Do you think what Biden was saying, that the more like what he's hearing from his guys, the more than likely are balloons? Do you think that's what they are?
Right. Here's my take on things. Prior to where I am just now, doing video editing and that, I was a part owner in an aerial drone filming company. We bought all of our drones from DJI. And this has gone back to 2013-14. So this is right.
Heather Lee's typing as me.
Heather.
You looked at as me, Lee.
What?
Sorry, Stu. Carry on. Lee's typing away and it's coming up alien addict. I'm like, have I just typed that?
We bought thousands of pounds worth of drones from DJI. And because we did that, we got to see some of the stuff that we're going to be doing in the future. And it's scary, the technology they've got tucked away that they'll release over the next 5-10 years. So it wouldn't surprise me if China, even if it wasn't like the People's Republic, the actual Chinese government, or if it was private industry over there, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they've got technologies over there that are pushing the boundaries of whether, I'm not saying like anti-gravity stuff or that, but just doing drone technology. The whole drone technology thing is going nuts now. You know, the capabilities, even from like 5 years ago to where we are now, are just phenomenal. You know, I mean, you can get drones now that can land on water, film underneath the water, and then take off again. And they've got thermal cameras on board and all that stuff.
I watched that video, Lee, that you sent me of Corbell, that 12-minute interview
On Breaking Point.
Yeah, and like what Stu's saying there, it's almost like
it does sound like that object.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, after you sending me that, I was quite impressed with Corbell because he didn't. I thought he was going to kind of like reinforce himself.
I have seen the logs. I have seen the videos. We have attempted shoot downs of UAPs on a regular basis. We're talking as recently as last Friday.
All right, Jezza, just calm down. I thought he was going to like proper back himself up and say, I've been telling you all this for a long time, but he didn't. He's almost like, well, this is it. From what I gathered from that little small interview, he's saying that this is nothing to do with that. Or was I reading that wrong?
No, I think he's for whatever purpose. I think he's in a position now where he's ranted and raved a little bit. And I don't mean that as a bad thing, like for the past 1.5, 2 years. And what's happened over the weekend is his chance to just sit back and go, told you, look for yourself now. You know, I've said all this. So, you know, it's your turn to catch up.
One thing annoys me about him and George Knapp, I've heard it on the grapevine, him and Knapp are sitting on some decent UFO UAP footage. And they aren't releasing it. Now, to me, if you're really into ufology, you get that stuff out, you get it vetted and get it out as fast as possible.
But what if they can't get it out?
Yeah.
But I think they can get it out, and the reason why they're sitting on it is for monetary gain later down the line.
Maybe.
I mean, I get what you mean.
Is that a bad thing? Is that a real bad thing?
Not really.
I don't know where the difference would be, though. It's not like there's going to be an ideal time to do it. Do you know what I mean? So when would stock be higher in UFOs? Joe, it's like, oh, if we wait another couple of weeks, like Independence Day 5 is coming out, we can do it then. Yeah, I don't know what difference it would make holding on to it. I feel it would be, because I know Knapp said this before, hasn't he? That he's had stuff given to him, and then he's gone and checked that with the people he knows within the U.S. military, whether it's okay for him to release it or not. And that's the kind of the channels they're going through. And he even said, I think it was on the Weaponized podcast, he said how strange it was that he felt he gave stuff to the US military to see if it was okay, rather than him getting stuff to pass on.
I remember him doing a Coast to Coast episode where he said he got UFO footage from Russia. This was like around about the time of the collapse of, the Soviet Union and stuff like that. He went across with a team of people and they were given access to all these files. But he bloody well lost it, and all these, it's buried in these archives that he keeps. And he seems to be quite good at doing that as well, which is he actually does get genuine, potentially.
Do we believe that?
I think possibly.
I don't believe you would accidentally misplace proof of.
Oh no, I just think he's an idiot, and he's really bad at record keeping. That's all.
Still, I mean, that's right up there with NASA saying that they've destroyed the technology to get back to the moon. That's
don't get me started with that.
It's odd. I don't know. I like Knapp. I like Corbell too. I think they're interesting characters, and I think at the end of the day, we expect them to know more. That's the thing. We expect them. It's in the same like a Rogan or a Jimmy Fallon or something like that, because they are popular people in prominent positions.
And that's the thing, Lee. I think
but they
what's
paint
happened.
Themselves like that. Jeremy does paint himself in the, I'm the guy in the know, everyone comes to me.
Yeah, he's cocksure. He is, but I think that's his personality. I think that's just him in life. He's just one of these blokes that he's just cocksure. Does it make him a liar? No, he's just. He probably loves being in the limelight, but you can tell he's that kind of guy that likes that.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make him a bad person? No.
Quite likely, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think the question would be: would any of us act differently in the same situation? That's the if all of a sudden you had the door opened up to you and you had Lazar at your beck and call, and you were on Rogan, you're snapped up by George Knapp to be his understudy, and you then become the. I mean, who else, right? Apart from him, and I don't think there's anybody nobody in the world is like the Rock of ufology. There's no the Rock. You can take a picture of him into most households, and someone in that household will know who the Rock is. There isn't really anything like that in ufology. I think people that are into this stuff forget that sometimes, that it's not like a household conversation for most people. If there's anyone that is the closest to a household name, it's either him or Lou Elizondo right now.
I think Lou's calmed down. I think he's sort of backed off the
He's
whole
done his job.
Yeah, no, but he's done a lot of TV interviews. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I mean. There's very few people that are as recognizable as Jeremy Corbell now. Oh, sorry, that caught me off guard. And don't get me wrong, that's by his design. It's by his design. But I don't think if you wanted to make this your career, which he clearly has done, it's like from his what he calls the Corbell trilogy. He's wanted to do this. He's wanted to be in the position where he can put these things out. I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe he's working on a fourth documentary, and that's where this footage is going to go that they've got, which they're sitting on. Is that not a good way to do it? Maybe is that not a better way if you have something which is really good quality material to slam it into a documentary where you can explain it, you can explain where you got it from.
Oh yeah, because then you can make some decent bucks. Listen, guys, I'm actually going to have to scoot because my dog's about to go mental and bust your eardrums.
No worries,
buddy.
So I might come back on, but we'll see. But anyway, I'll say bye for now and let you two blather away. Okay.
Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, cheers, you too. Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
That was a good
But
transition. You see this transition there?
yeah.
Change the background.
Do you know what I mean though? If he could explain what it is, where it's coming from, if they're actually sitting on anything, but
It's
knows?
risky sitting on it though. If he is sat on something, it's risky in case it gets leaked. Unless
it's only him and Nap that have got it.
but where did they get it from?
I don't know. Maybe it's direct from an alien. Oh, that's it, isn't it? It's because of the world we live in now. How awful would this be? That the first fucking genuine extraterrestrial video that comes out in the same way as the alien autopsy came out, but it's like a sex tape. That would be alien sex tape. That's how disclosure happens in this hellhole of a world we live in.
Did you think for any second with any of this that this could possibly be extraterrestrial?
I don't believe in aliens, so no.
You're on the wrong channel, mate. We've partnershipped.
No, I believe.
I know. I'm joking. I'm winding. This is why me and you work, mate. This is because we can have that difference in opinion.
Yeah. Oh no, I believe that.
And I'm with you.
Yeah. I believe there's something non-human. That's the way to go. Is there something non-human? Possibly. I don't believe it comes from millions of miles away and from a different solar system, a different galaxy. I think there's something that's already been here.
For a long time.
Very good, Mike. Yeah, I like that.
It really is just like we said. I think when we finished on Sunday, we're probably going to need to do a show pretty much every night this week, and then we just sat back to see what happened and just report of that on the end of the week. And I thought by Friday we'd be able to do a show and we'd be able to say, well, lo and behold, this is what it was. We have no fucking idea.
Nope. Yeah, we kind of, to be perfectly honest, we've kind of drifted into what I was going to bring up on Must See Audio, but it doesn't really matter, obviously. It just seems like it's weird thing after weird thing after weird thing at the minute. Like for the last 3 years, it feels like we've been living in some sort of sci-fi film. And I think social media is a problem with it as well. And I don't know how much truth is in it, but if you're not hearing about some sort of World Economic Forum, global takeover, then it's chemical fires, then it's farmers going out of business, then it's protests somewhere along the world, then it's a huge earthquake that kills 30,000 people, then it's UFOs being shot out of the sky, then it's the Earth's course stopping spinning for a second. It's just wild. It used to be a case that one of these things had happened now and again.
I mean, they say it's a big world, but it's a big mess at the minute.
It's a lot of stuff.
A lot of drama.
Absolute drama farming is what it is. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say though, it's so odd to me. Well, it's not, because media does over exaggerate things, but didn't you feel like when you were watching even Sky News that there was a tiny bit of implication that it could be extraterrestrial in the way that they were reporting?
Yes, they were No. They were absolutely presenting it in a way that connected it to the Fravor Tic Tac story. I 100% believe that, especially the guy that came out from the Pentagon where he literally said we're not ruling out extraterrestrials.
Yeah. I mean,
right, that's a Pentagon press briefing. And they said, we're not ruling out extraterrestrials. It's like I said on the Sunday when we did the show, it was like somebody popped up in the comments and said, oh, do you guys know that there's another UFO shot down? How wild is it that somebody can say that in the comments and not be the crazy person?
It wouldn't, if someone would have said tonight in the comments, oh, another one's just being shut down, I wouldn't have even battered an eyelid. I'd be like, okay. This is just that Friday thing. Should we bring that up and just see what she's got to, because I think this has got something to do.
Look at the state of her face. Someone's been boosted.
Yeah, she looks bored, doesn't she?
No.
For you and sort of the way that you're analyzing or looking at this, is there a delineation between that first spy balloon, which both U.S. and Canadian authorities have said, yeah, that's from China, and then these three latest objects, which right now, as we pointed out in the introduction, like we have basically no answers on, and the debris is very difficult to get to?
Well, again, I mean, we don't have answers on so much of this, and until we can get further into it, and that means the examination of what we can retrieve, which will be critically important. I don't know what anyone can say any more than that. Now, we're recalibrating, NORAD is, Canada and American defenses, we're recalibrating the analysis in the sky at the time to look at objects that may be coming closer to Earth, 16 versus 50 or 40, we 1,000 feet. We just don't know, but we are going to be, I'm sure, far more aware of what's floating around up there.
Yeah, you sound it, mate.
Of those objects, and
oh my God,
is it a matter of more and newer and more sophisticated espionage objects that people are developing and using? We don't know where these other three balloons came from. We don't know.
Jesus Christ, he makes fucking Biden sound like a wordsmith.
They could be innocent meteorological balloons, but until we get more facts, we just won't know.
So let me ask you then, because I think that a number of Canadians and Americans alike who watched those three unidentified objects and, well, didn't watch, but saw and heard right after that they were shot down, kind of feel like it's a big deal that they were, right? It was the first time on Saturday, for example, that NORAD has ever shot anything down over that airspace. And so while I know it could be nothing, the fact that it's getting shot out of the sky, like, do you understand, I guess, how it seems like something more than nothing to regular people who are watching this unfold?
Well, anytime you've got an unknown, an uncertain situation we don't have answers for, sure, there's going to be concern. It'll be legitimate concern. But I don't think we should overreact to it as well. Until, again, I say, we know more about it, we just won't know more about it. But sure, anytime something's shot down, and in fact, now this is 4 episodes, was shot out of the air, the citizenry of your country is going to question what's going on and how dangerous is this. I mean, it's just so many questions. Ability really that good? Can we catch things better, make us more aware, and make our defense?
He's just not saying anything. Like it's just waffle.
Canada,
like,
U.S.
literally just
Canada,
waffle.
I mean, I almost feel sorry for him. He's just like he came on and just a train wreck.
I mean, it's a train wreck. He's got nothing to say, but he's just been wheeled out.
Does it not seem like everybody it's a train wreck when they try and explain it? When you've seen anybody of any sort of high stature stand up and even Biden, well, that's always a thing.
It's a ride.
But whenever anybody has spoke about allegedly what happened, or they just seem to fall to pieces with the conversation of it. even me now trying to have this conversation with you, I'm falling to pieces because it's just
there's no information.
There's just nothing.
Yeah,
we're just guessing.
I mean, what do we have? We have a definite balloon. We have 4 objects which we were told aren't balloons. We were definitively told they weren't balloons. We were told one of them is hexagonal, pentagon shaped. Was it, or hexagonal, whichever one? Hexagonal, pentagon. I will be allowed to make the mistake.
Cylindrical.
No, because that's a circle, isn't it?
Yeah, we did the one of them was a cylindrical. I say that word.
So it came out. There was no visible means of propulsion or like reason to keep it aloft. Your man, who's the guy, the billionaire that bought Skinwalker Ranch?
Not Bigelow.
No,
Noodle. Fugal.
Yeah. Fugal he was the first one I saw tweet about it.
Yeah.
He tweeted the article and he said that he'd heard from his contacts within the military that these things had no visible means of propulsion. We apparently shot them to see. This is the thing. There's not even there was video of the balloon being shot down. There's no video of these things being shot down. So we don't know for a fact if they were there. And I think that's kind of like because you can chase your tail with this stuff so much. We have to, at least for this conversation, we have to at least come to the understanding that in context of this conversation, we will just take it for granted that they were there. Because otherwise we'll keep getting bogged down in the weeds of, is it a distraction? Is it for Epstein? Is it for the train wreck? Is it for this? Is it for that? And it very well could be, but it's not productive. You can have that as a separate conversation, and we probably will have a separate conversation about it on Sunday again. But the fact of the matter is,
Sunday show, people.
The fact of the matter is that we don't know if they were shot down. We don't know why they chose to fire on them. We don't know why they wouldn't engage them at night time, which is that to me was the fascinating thing when we were talking about this last Sunday. And Dave pointed out that they wouldn't engage them at night. And as he said, you have fighter jets are like in their element at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just interesting to me, that because that goes in line with the idea that if you're a fighter pilot, you're an instrument pilot, no one's looking out of their windscreen flying a fighter plane. So if it was jamming electronics and fucking up the systems within the craft, that would explain why you couldn't fly it at night, or why you couldn't engage it at night, I should say.
At Woodley, that's a really good point.
So
has anybody else said that?
No, I'm just a genius. I think I tend
seriously, have you heard that somewhere else?
No, that was my thought. I did say it last Sunday on the podcast. I do tend to think though that they are something. If anything, I think maybe the train wreck might be the distraction from Epstein, to be honest. So, but I do tend to. I do tend to think that these were things. Something was happening.
You definitely think this happened.
But look at last year. People keep forgetting about this, and this is my favorite UFO thing of all time. And it got battered away and forgotten. If this happened now, it'd be mental. It was when they shut London Airport down 3 years ago, 4 years ago. That was a fucking UFO.
They made a film about that.
That was not drones. There is no way. Over 2 days, they closed London Airport for drones. because they can only stay in the air for fucking 2.5 hours, something like that, a civilian drone. So you'd have had to have a fleet of these things that have had to go back and forwards to somewhere. There was reports from
How long ago was that now?
I think it was 4 years ago. It was
It was longer than that.
2018 it was.
Was it?
2018. Yeah.
Seems longer, but
Yeah. I think it was just before we became like friends.
friends.
But yeah, like that thing, it was at Heathrow. It was Heathrow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there was
I believe it. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, and people had stories of being sat on the runway and they could see a large glowing object in the sky. I believe there was a video of it as well at some point. Someone had took from the cabin of one of the planes that was sat on the airstrip.
Was there?
Yeah, there was definitely a video of something.
Was it a real one?
Yeah, it was a real one, but it was just a light. You could just see a light in the sky.
Did you ever watch the film UFO with Gillian Anderson that was in X-Files? Yeah, it was a bit boring, but
it wasn't great.
Kind of almost like based on that. But I think it was before that.
Yeah, I think that was based on the was it LA? Was it LAX, which had to shut down for a UFO in the sky?
Possibly, but it was loosely based because it wasn't the whole true story thing. I don't think it was. It wasn't. It was very loosely, roughly based, making a film of it and all that. Do you think we're gonna ever know what these things were that they shot down? Do you think that will happen? We'll find out.
If it's a prelude to Blue Beam, I think we're going to find out exactly what it is.
What do you no? But do you think
deep down?
Give a date. Give a date.
I can't give a date. I don't know. I don't know what day it would be.
Give a time scale. Do you think we're going to find them
this year? O'Hare Airport. Thanks. Yeah, it was at O'Hare Airport. Right. For no apparent reason, apart from, I would say, spending more time than I probably should do looking at this sort of stuff since the vid hit, and I've been a bit more conspiratorially minded. Like I wasn't a rampant conspiracy theorist beforehand. I think there are entities, and by that I mean people, like an entity as in like an organization that have a vested interest in bringing upon us a new way of living. I think they want a one world government. I think it's what we would have called for years of as globalists. And it just the other day at the World Global Leaders Summit, I think it was, there was a guy saying that they what was his words? That it needs a massive event. We have the opportunity to shift people into like a new paradigm, and we need a massive event to galvanize people into doing this. I don't think you can just do that with another pandemic. I don't think you can do it with that. I think it needs to be something bigger. I think that primed people, and I think it was a good indication of compliance. It was a good exercise in how compliant people would be. How would you do it? I don't think you need to fake a war either. This is the thing. It's always put like they're going to fake an invasion. That suggests war. But if you were to form a new religion, which is what Blue Beam was there for in the first place, was to project a deity above a battlefield. If you were to bring back the alien gods, like from Sumer time, that would then say, "Look, we're all one people. It's time to put our differences aside."
Then
Gal-
the us lot piping on the show going, don't believe this shit, people.
Do you remember what I said when I first started coming on this show? When I first started coming on this show, and I said one day we'll be the conspiracy theorists for not believing in aliens.
Yeah.
That's where I think we're going.
When this actually happened, I was showing my wife this stuff because she said, "Have you seen this?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "And if for any reason in our lifetime they say that we're being attacked by extraterrestrials or whatever, don't fucking believe it." Was that your pussy?
Too many jokes.
I wouldn't believe it.
I've already done a hat trick on you, Mum. I can't go full.
Yeah. Hat trick on my mother. I wouldn't believe it, and I'm pretty sure that most of the people in the chat tonight, the people that are subscribed to the channel,
wouldn't you?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't.
But we half believe this.
There's reasons why we believe this, because most of us have seen that. You've seen them in the sky. I've seen them in the sky.
Yeah,
people in the chat have seen them in the sky.
That's what I mean.
We know that.
But I think we even me, that's not like a believer in. The only people that wouldn't believe, that wouldn't even have the slightest inclination, would be the flat earthers. They would be the only ones.
Would they not? Some of them think Earth's bigger than it is.
I think they would be the ones going, yeah, but this is bullshit. But us that do this sort of thing, I think most people in the chat, we'd still have that bit in the back of our mind going, oh, I want this to be real.
Yeah, I mean, but if let's for argument's sake, let's say it just so happened that 2 weeks ago, I think it's nearly 2 weeks ago now anyway, they shot down a Chinese weather balloon, spy balloon, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
They shot that down the size of 3 double-decker buses. They shot that thing down. Couldn't retrieve all of it. They retrieved some of it, but not enough. Then, in the following days, they happened to shoot another 3 of them down. Let's just say these 3 happen to be extraterrestrial at the time when they shoot a weather balloon down. Now, one, if we're going to call them extraterrestrial, like they've traveled here from thousands of light years away with crazy shit tech, one, I don't believe that they can shoot them down, because I think they would be so advanced. You'd be talking Captain Kirk on with whatever protocol they call it, where they can't interfere. But even so, it'd be like we were chucking spears at them. I don't think we could shoot them down.
The question would be then, if you attacked enough savages with planes, eventually that one spear would get lucky.
Yeah, but
But we
3?
did 4. But we did 4, didn't we?
I don't think they're extraterrestrials.
No, I don't myself. But...
I think
see, that's the parallel society. That's the thing. That's the parallel civilization. You know, that's what clears it up with me, is that you wouldn't need, because they don't have to traverse the distance. They don't need to be 100,000 years ahead of us in technology. Like, just think of how much difference we would be in another 100 years, another 200 years of technology. Like, it would be incredible to us. It would be incredible, but not alien.
Can you imagine if in 100 years we're still using rockets?
It wouldn't surprise me. There is another conspiracy theory about that, isn't there? That the conspiracy theories we're constantly talking about technological innovation and what it's going to be like in 1,000 years and what it's going to be like in 200,000 years. But when you actually look at it, none of those things ever come to pass. You know, like when you look at the we haven't really done anything since the smartphone now. You know, it's since
I know what you mean. Yeah,
we've made it better. We've made it better, but it's still the same thing.
we never
and
did
even
that with the rockets, other than they can land.
well, rocketry. See, I mean, I'm sure there is somebody out there that knows.
We need to get some of Dave's mates on.
We need to get Max back on, to be perfectly honest. But it does seem like that space travel stood still, and people keep turning around and say, we don't give NASA enough money. NASA gets so much money, so much. Isn't like something like 300 million a day?
I could do with a bit of that. Just even like a.
So I don't know. You maybe it is. Maybe we've just the military industrial complex took over, and that's so technology stagnates in the day to day. You know, the day to day goings for us. So that's why we don't see anything. But in our life and our parents' lives, there does seem to be a direct correlation between civilian technology and military technology. You know, it's at least comparable. You know, even like we had the say the Blackbird and stuff like that. You know, when that was unveiled and mothballed and things, but you still had Concorde in the air back then.
We did.
So it's not supersonic flight. Wasn't something like, oh my God, we've broken the sound barrier. No, we knew you could break the sound barrier already, but we just had this cool stealth plane. Speaking
of Concorde, that is one of the best UFO captured on tape things I've ever seen. A lot of people. Have you seen the old classic Concorde videotape where the little tiny orb comes up to the window, stops, hovers at the window, then moves?
Yeah,
that's one of the best of all time, and that is not a lens. That is not a lens flare.
No, I don't think anybody with the same mind could say that was a lens flare. Could be fake, but it's not a lens flare.
Why put a fake in that little commercial?
Don't know.
For people to talk about in years to come,
because we're still talking about it. Yeah.
For a build up to something different. Playing the long game.
How long? This is the thing.
Exactly.
There's this, and then because it feels like it does feel like we're part of a long game, but maybe that's just because, like, as humans, I forgot what it's called, but we have the like in it. What's it called? We're driven to connect dots. You know, like we find patterns in things. It's one of the traits of being a human. But it does feel like that there's some sort of long game, and it feels like it's a generational long game. You know, this isn't this. I mean, there's people out there that think that what's happening to us right now has been planned from like the Second World War, you know, and beyond further into the past than the Second World War. I mean, if there's one thing humans are, it's not patient. We like to see progress. For us, you know, where we are selfish creatures. You can see that
we don't do stuff for our. Well, we do stuff for our children, our actual children, but not for other people's kids.
No.
We can't stand other people's kids.
No, it's one of the I think problems with when you see progressive politics is it's all about the now, and it's I want change immediately. And I don't care how dangerous or how damaging it is to society or whatever's around me, but I think this, so therefore there has to be change. So that would suggest that if there is some sort of grand overarching plan, then they're thinking outside of human lifespans, which is really strange. You're into David Icke territory there.
Yeah. Who's going to be a guest on your show in the upcoming years?
David Icke.
Yeah, you've contacted his son a couple of times, haven't you?
I spoke to his son about coming on the podcast, and his son ghosted me. I've been ghosted loads. James Dalrymple ghosted me as well. He was supposed to be coming on. Gordon Rochford from those conspiracy guys. I hopefully I'll get him on at some point. I've spoken to him a couple of times. He'd be a great guest because I've loved those conspiracy guys for years. And if anybody listens to the Infinite Fringe, I'm going to get in touch with Billy Ray Valentine again because I've had him on my podcast before. He invited me on the Fringe actually, but it never came. But yeah, I'd like to get Billy Ray back on.
Yeah, and also, I won't say anything now, but Dave's lining up some.
That'd be ace.
Some friends.
If Dave gets the guest he wants to come on, I don't know whether he'll probably be Alien Addict. I would imagine because it'd suit this show.
It's
better.
the same thing. It's the same. It's the
thing.
It's the same channel.
But yeah, if that happens, that'll be great.
Well, it is the same channel, and it isn't. I think the good thing with what we've done, which this show, we're at what, an hour and 15 minutes. We can blab on about this thing, for another 15 minutes. But I don't think there's any point to it. Sunday, we've decided to do a show where we're going to be talking to the audience.
Yeah, kind of like a Q&A, I suppose.
Yeah. So that is going to be up maybe tonight. I might pop it up.
Can you do a counter on StreamYard?
A counter? What do you mean?
like a little clock in the top corner, 15-minute times.
Oh, you mean like a countdown?
Yeah,
we can do a countdown.
Right. So I think what we should do on Sunday is that anyone that comes into the chat, well, we should advertise it this way as well, so people should know. I wish I thought of this earlier. The chat can pick the subjects that we're going to talk about, and as soon as we pick a subject from the chat, we will start the clock and we'll talk about it for like 20 minutes or something like that. And then as soon as the 20 minutes is up, we'll talk about something else that's in the chat.
When you say a counter, do you mean like before the stream starts, just going?
No, just during the stream I was talking about. But it's okay. We can look at the clock in the corner. We don't need it.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
do something like that. Yeah, definitely.
But that'd be good if we'll get the chat to pick the subjects, and hopefully they don't pick anything that's going to get the channel shut down.
Yeah. But just
check out Bob sliding in just before we go.
Slidey
Bob.
Oh, Bob.
Get in, Bob.
He sent us a super sticker, Lee, which is fist. I thought we just said fist. Then it's an aubergine, not an aubergine. A pear. I think it's a pear, and it says fist bump. I'll fist you, Bob. Not in a blue way.
Well, I'm not as picky, so as long as we can sort out the super chat, if you can take the hands, I'll take the money.
Lee is definitely this merger with Musty Audio. We need all the support you can get because YouTube will demonetize us pretty quick. I reckon within half a year of the partnership with Lee. But it's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
Hopefully YouTube will change because the CEO stepped down, hasn't she?
Yes. Thank goodness.
And
but who are they going to get?
Who knows? I mean, hopefully it's not somebody from her stable that's already there. But
maybe Elon will go, fuck it, I'll buy that and all.
Wow. Imagine how much YouTube would cost.
Yeah. It's a lot to take
priceless,
on.
Isn't it? It's actually priceless, YouTube. It's the biggest media platform in the world. Revolutionized the way people produce content.
Yes. Yeah, and you know something, as much as we all love to slag it off, we're all here. We all remember it back in the good old days.
Oh, that's the thing. I want YouTube to be great. That's all. It's why we keep coming back here instead of going to Rumble Odyssey or BitChute, something like that. You know, the
Make YouTube great again.
I watch more YouTube than any other TV thing. Like that's basically, since I got rid of live television, I watch Netflix and YouTube.
There was a story that Elon Musk made by Manchester United. Honestly, this world, I can't take much more of where we live, Lee. Wow. So yeah, Sunday, this Sunday, 9 p.m. UK time, GMT.
Yeah.
4 p.m. Eastern. Make sure it should be up shortly, folks. So check out the live stream. Give it a thumbs up before it starts and hit the bell. And this will be the thumbnail. Just so you know. Just so you know, people. There you go. There you go.
UFO Man just said, have either of you guys seen a real UFO? I have, but ask us again on Sunday because we're going to disappear.
Yeah, we are going to disappear. And I have as well. But ask us again on Sunday. I need to wee as well.
Dark Sky Files, I'd love to get you on Musty Audio as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it when you've come on Alien Addict. Like they've stayed with some of my favorite shows. You don't come on enough.
Yeah, well, he's like us, Lee. He works for a living. I actually sent him a message.
I saw it in the chat before,
and I've messaged him privately and said, "No worries, Lee has a show on Sunday." Oh, yep, he's up for it. He's up for a show on a Sunday.
Oh, cool! Lee. I didn't know that. I wasn't just.
He can't do Fridays, but he's up for a show on a Sunday. Yeah, there you go. So, folks, we're going to diddly on out of here, but don't forget, you can support the show further. If you can't support it financially, then literally before you leave, if you haven't given it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs up. Share it out to a friend. Yeah, share it out on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever. Just say, come and listen to these idiots.
Yeah, that's the thing. The way I always look at sharing stuff is, if you like it, chances are your friends are going to like it because we stick with people that we know.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think that makes Musty Audio and Alien Addict different is I get people on and you get people on regularly that we like.
Yeah.
You know, and by the way, we do still like Rich. It was Rich that kind of buggered off. We didn't kick him out, but there you go.
I watched the show the other day.
I watched his show. Yeah, I watched his show this morning. You can become a Patreon. The link is in the description. So you can support the show if you want to, or become a channel member, or whatever you want to do. But if it's not there and you just want to keep yourself warm, there's t-shirts.
Imagine if Musty Audio had t-shirts.
Oh yeah, I'll get on them, Lee. I'll get on them. We'll do some Musty Audio.
Just imagine, just imagine like how cool it would be to have.
I have been saying that
a Musty Audio logo on your shirt. Like that would be something you could wear. You could like go out for dates with it, and people would go, "Why have you got that on your shirt?" You go, "Oh, it's Musty Audio."
I think just the eyeball.
No, I like the whole logo.
Yeah, but we'll do the whole logo. But I think we should do something with the eye. You know, like it reminds me of Hal from 2001: Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, good night. God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite. I'm Ollie. I was going to say I'm Alien Addict, but we are Alien Addict now. It's weird. Not as weird as this, though.
I have seen the logs. I have seen the videos. We have attempted shoot downs of UAPs on a regular basis. We're talking as recently as last Friday.